Hey there, Chad here. Thanks for joining me. This is Aurora 4X, and this is my complete beginner's guide. In the previous episode, we started colonizing the moon, and we've been pretty successful there. We've got 3 million people living there. We have folks ready for work. We need to get that set up for them, and we're going to do that. Well, we're also going to do some research and couple of different things to look at in that direction. First, let's see what we have. We have 4 research facilities available, and I think we're good on things like what we need for a jump engine. Yeah, I think we're solid there. So what I want to do is we're going to handle this in 2 parts. We're going to first let's start there. Let's start with getting some stuff to Luna for the people there to start working with. And this is actually a lot simpler than it sounds. We go out here and look at it. We have 1.86 million people willing and ready to work. We just need to give them something to do. Well, there's nothing for them to do. And what we want to do, I mean, they do have a little bit they have folks working a little bit. They've got some agriculture and service industries, things like that. But we don't have a huge amount of folks actually productive. We've got 1.86 million that aren't doing anything that is helping us. What we are going to do is come up here to our ships, up to the Navy, and we're going to go look for the Lunar Supply Fleet. It's not just doing supplies. Supply was probably not a good word, but it's basically moving stuff to Luna. Maybe Luna move-in fleet might have been a way to look at it. I don't know. But what we want to do is we still only have 2 ships in there. We're going to go to Earth and we're going to load installations. And first, we're going to move some financial centers. So we're just going to move 10 financial centers over to over to Luna from Earth. And so it'll be 2 per shot, 1 in each of the 2 ships. We'll go and uninstall all, and then we want to do a total of 10, so that is a total of 5 trips. There we go, and then we will return to Earth and resupply. And then we're going to let that rip. Oh, we have research that needs to be done. So we'll come back to that thought in a minute. Now, the second part of this, we have a few things that we probably need to start thinking about in our system. And one of those is unrest. Specifically, we have these folks on Luna. So Earth will have unrest, but it never really impacts you, okay? We have a small police force right now. We have a considerable amount of resistance, but it's not impactful, and it won't be impactful. It just, Earth doesn't do that, is my understanding. When we look at Luna, there really won't be a whole lot, but we do have a little bit of resistance right now, and we don't have any police strength at all. That's one piece. For that, we need ground troops, and we'll move some there. I build out those early companies as security companies. In fact, I even so much as call them that. We'll move these over to Luna when we have the opportunity, and we don't have to be in a hurry for that. I do want to be clear on that. 2 is nothing. We get up to like 40, and then all of a sudden these numbers will start to fall because there's more and more unrest. We need to reduce it. The other thing that's on here that isn't quite clear is this protection required and actual. So this number is pretty low right now. It's 2, and that's good. But as it goes up, that will also impact these numbers. And what this is it's literally military protection. So now that we have started to colonize our system, we are recognizing that there could be others out there that might come to try to hurt us. At least that's kind of the mentality, I guess, that has to exist for this to be a necessity. Basically, when we build military ships, it goes into this actual bucket, and it will apply points as actual for the amount of protection required. So we're going to want to build a couple of ships that basically are ships with guns on them, is what it's going to come down to. I call them patrol boats or frigates is what I tend to build. You could really do it however you want, but we need to make that happen. And in order to make that happen, we have a couple of things we have to create. So we need to open the create project window. The very first one is actually active sensors isn't a bad one to do. we could do that as well. But we're first going to go down here to direct fire control. I'm going to select direct fire control. And I don't recall if we did update anything here yet. We may have. I don't think we have to. We can just go with, okay, well, no. We want to go with multi-weapon control. And I don't think we've researched anything that would impact this. It's something you could create on day one, really, if that's the case. And you're more than welcome to do that. But we're going to go with Sentech, like sensor technology is what I'm thinking. And this will be the Sentech direct fire control. We're just going to leave the name in there that they've got. It's a pretty good default. So that is the range in kilometers, 20,000 kilometers, and it is the target size that it can deal with. Or I'm sorry, that's the tracking speed. We're leaving everything else as a default. So it's normal size freighter, I think is 5,000. Is that? I'm not even sure, but it will have a standard tracking speed of for the size of the ship that we're tracking. I thought there was another thing in here. Yeah, I think this is where it can, if you want to make it smaller, you can, let's see, the fire control can be at 30, let's say 25. That's an easy number to work with. 25% of the range can attack something that's 25% of the size is what that is. We're just going to leave that alone. Leave it on standard. For this first build, it's really just to give the people a sense of protection inside of our system. So we don't have to be really super careful about how we build this out. We're just going to go with something real simple. There we go. There is our fire control system. Project created and added to research. Yep, it sure was. Secondly, we need a weapon to put on those ships for that fire control to direct. And we're going to go down to lasers. I'm going to go to lasers, and we have a 10 centimeter laser that's already together. It's an infrared laser. Again, we've done no research here at all. It's going to be a standard mount, standard laser, capacitor recharge. We haven't changed any of this. And this is going to be something like Browning. I don't know. You could do a Kalashnikov if you wanted to. And this will just be the, I'm going to call this the IL for infrared laser, IL10C1. That'll be my naming convention for those for now. It's, yeah. It is what it is. And we'll say create. We could have said prototype, and that could probably have its own segment. Maybe we'll talk about that at another time. Prototype basically doesn't move it to research. It allows you to build with it on this screen as though it already exists. And then so you can design out a ship using just prototyped parts. Oh, I need it to be a little bit larger of a reactor. Delete that one, go make one that's a little larger, drop it in as prototype. And you can figure out exactly how you want your ship to work. Then once you've done that, you turn that on by hitting prototypes here. It'll show those that are prototypes. I don't use it much yet because I'm just not that far into things, but that's basically what it does. Once you are ready to go with a ship, there will be a button over here that's like research prototype or something like that. You click that, and that's what moves it into the research queue for you then. It's a nice little feature. And pretty ingenious way of doing it. That way you can design something out completely. None of it has to be physical. And then you can start researching the parts to make it happen. Love that about the game. I think, did I make that laser? Did I say that? I can't remember if I did or not. We'll come back to that. We can see in the research window if I did or didn't. And we'll go to direct fire weapons. And yes, there's that Browning. So we have two things to research now. We're going to research the Browning here, and we're only going to use 2 research facilities for that. It should go pretty quick. It only needs 40 points. Yeah, we're talking a month. And then we also have the fire control system, which is under sensors and control systems. And that one's only 35 points right there. We'll give that to Zella. There we go. And that'll take about the same amount of time. So we'll have those ready to go. The other thing we're going to want to build here in the very near future is the jump drive. And let's go ahead and let this run for a minute, and we will come back to the jump drive. So Lunar Supply Fleet has completed its job. Its job was to move those financial centers. So if we come in here and go to summary, we should see that there's 10 fewer financial centers. We were at 200. We're now at 190. And there will be 10 on the moon. Infrastructure and financial center. Now, we do want to move more infrastructure to the moon because we want the population to be more than 5 million. And that's something we'll handle here in just a second. But what we also can see is there are now 500,000 financial workers. So that means for every 20 facilities, we employ 1 million people. That's what that's telling us. So 50,000 people per facility. We could put, because of our available workers, we could put 20 more facilities out there. Now, the other thing we can do is I want to also have, so we have the lunar fleet. I want financial centers over there. It's going to be where I generate most of my wealth. But the other thing I want over there are mines. So we're going to do a mine. We want to do half as many mines. We want to put 20 more things over there. So we're going to do mines. That'll load 2 mines. And we're going to say, Luna, unload all installations. Then we're going to go back to Earth. And we're going to do load installation, financial center, Luna, unload all installations, and then we're going to repeat that 4 more times. And what that'll do is load 10 mines and 10 financial centers incrementally for each of them. It'll do 2 at a time for each, 2 of one, then 2 of the other, then back to the first, then back to the second. That's the order it'll go in. And it doesn't really matter, doing 10, it'll be done in less than 10 days, right? If we were to do 70 of those, we may want to have mines starting to act before we start loading financial centers, or we might need both of them equally. And that's kind of what I'm kind of taking into account there is, let's say we want to build in parallel, get these 2 things bumping up there. That's how we would do it. So we'll come over here. Whoops, wrong button. We'll look at that, go to Luna, and we will see mines start showing up here. And as those mines show up, we will start seeing materials load, and we will be happy and rejoice in that. So we already see those 10 mines are added and 10 financial centers. We only have 300,000 workers remaining based on our current population. So we don't want to add any more jobs, really. If we added 10 more of those, that'd be another 500,000. We'd have underemployment, which really just means that those centers aren't being used to their full potential. Because right now, Earth has unemployed folks. If we look here, we have 150 million people looking for something to do. So on Luna, this is not a bad thing. And as we can see here, some of these mines are starting to produce, if I didn't already say that. So that's good. We want these numbers to get to the 25,000 range before we start picking them up, and we'll come back to that at another time. In the meantime, we do want to send over more infrastructure now, so we're going to get that going. Come over here, load supply, move orders, Earth. It's the same thing we've been doing. I clicked one too many times. Didn't mean to double click. There we go. I want to double click that one. So that's 10, 20, and we're going to unload that. Unload all installations. We're going to repeat that 4 more times. That makes 100 of those moved. Then we're going to do that. Let's do that 2 more times to make it, no, let's do it, well, let's do it 4 more times. So this is 200. That'll be 800. So that'll be, I think that'll be 1,000 at that point. Is that right? I think that's right. And then we'll go back and resupply from Earth. And then we want to do all of that 1 more time. So that, I think if I'm doing my math right, that should move 2,000 units across a period of time. And if we come down through here, we'll see about halfway. Here's where we do the resupply. And then we'll start doing it again. Now, if we run out of fuel in the meantime, we'll start getting messages and we can come and adjust for that as needed. The other thing we could do is we could push a few more people over there. It wouldn't be the worst thing. But why don't we just let it grow organically for the in the meantime and see where we land with that. For research, Luna doesn't have any research, and I do this all the time. I'm like, I don't have any research going on. It's because I have Luna selected here. We want to go to Earth, and Earth still has all that research happening, no available facilities. So we're in good shape there. These will be done in just a couple of days, really. About a week, 2 weeks. There we go. One of them's done. One research lab available. Oh, and that's because the production of the research lab ended. So let's get that dealt with. Research, and we'll just put it on the one that's supposed to take longer right now. We'll add him there. Oh, they're going to end on the same day now, supposedly. There we go, May 7th. One of them ended, not both of them. Pardon me. So we could put those other ones on there. But instead, what we're going to do is start to generate our jump drive. And then as this completes, we'll dump workers onto that. So once again, we're going to go back to this class create research project, and we're going to go to jump drive. That is right here. Jump drive, and then on the jump drive, it automatically selects all the latest, so we don't really have to worry about that too much. We do want it to be a military drive because it's going to be pushing ships with gravitational sensors, and those will be military style, so we need to go ahead and keep that. The jump radius these are all the only thing we've researched for them, so that we don't have any choices there. Ultimately, you want those to be more efficient and better numbers over time, but for now, we'll be absolutely fine with this. The one thing we do want to adjust, right here, the jump capability in tons. We want to be able to move a ship that is 5,000 tons. I'm actually going to make it 6,000 just in case I bleed over just a little bit. I think we'll actually be okay with 5, but we'll go ahead and say 6,000 tons. That costs us 1,000 tons right there. That's something to note. So that's part of the reason I wanted to make it just a little larger than I would otherwise. Also, by the way, we're adjusting these in tons. If we change these numbers here, it will change this list. So instead of being by 1,000 tons, it would be by potentially 10 tons or 100 tons. Just a quick note on how part of the interface works there. Okay, well, I think we're good with what we have there. And I don't know, I'm trying to think of a new name for this. I had one in my mind and it left very, very quickly. I've been using tech at the end of things a lot lately. I was trying to avoid that. I'm trying to think of jump systems might be, I don't know. Well, you have Rocketdyne, Lockheed Rocketdyne, right? You could do Lockheed. They would, if anybody was going to come, I mean, the company that built stealth vehicles probably would have something to do with jump drives, don't you think? I think we're good with that. So what we're going to say is we'll call it the Lockheed Rocketdyne jump drive 6,350. So the 6,000 is the tonnage. The 3 is the number that it can jump. And the 50 is the kilometers in spread from the jump point that it could have. And it is a military drive. So maybe we drop the J distinction here and we call it the military MJD, the MJD6000. Okay, a couple of things to note here. That jump squadron size, yes, that is how many ships can jump at once. Only one ship has to have the jump drive. So this can carry 2 other ships under 6,000 tons with it through a jump. That is kind of important to note. That number can be bumped up through research, but for now, one ship needs the drive and it can take 2 others with it. And this works out well with our scheme for how we did survey ships. And we'll come back around to that when we're actually ready to jump. So I think we're going to go ahead and create this. It's going to put it in the research window. We probably won't see it. Well, maybe we will. Is it going to be in there? There it is, Lockheed Rocketdyne. We're going to go ahead and go after that. And we only have 3. We're only going to have 5 for now. Let's go with the person with the most right there. The most percentage bonus. They can only do 5, but they have a 20% bonus. So that'll help, and we'll be bumping 2 more people on there. It'll finish fast enough. We don't need to worry about adjusting this again while we wait for those orbital modules to come online. Okay. That might do it for this episode. Trying to think if there was anything else we wanted to cover. We built a couple of things. We have our jump drive in the works in research. We haven't actually built a ship yet, but we will get there. We have set up our fleet to start moving stuff for us. We talked about maybe moving a few more colonists, but decided against it. I like to move them in roundish numbers. That's the one reason I'm hesitating is sending a few more people that way. So we're going to hold off on that. We will need to build a troop transport ship relatively soon. I suppose one other thing we could do is start to build out a few more ground units. Let's do that. So we have a couple that were already operational. They're all security forces, and we'll stick with that for now. So we're going to come down here and we're going to build a company HQ, create that task. By the way, we could have changed the name before we hit send and it would have updated that. I am going to change this to 4th Security Company. And the HQ is probably a good designator for that. And then we will also build the actual companies of soldiers. And this one will be the 3rd Security Company because it's called a 3rd Security Company. There we go. And the 4th. So we'll have the 3rd company is getting built. The 4th, we can change this name here like this, by the way. Rename task. 3rd Security Company HQ. There you have it. Okay. We'll start building those out. I'll go ahead and run to the next logical point and we'll pick up in the next episode. Thanks for joining me. This is Aurora 4X and this is my Complete Beginner's Guide coming to you from a complete beginner. Hope you're finding something helpful for this game. It is actually a lot of fun. You start pushing these things around on your own and, I want to design this. I want to do it that way. So many choices to make as we move forward. And we haven't even seen the tip of the iceberg, let alone know that it's what an iceberg is that's out there. So there you have it. Until next time, fair travels.